videotape meetings if your, open session public meetings are subject to being recorded. Your image and voice may be recorded. Have to read that.
So what time is it?
7:07.
Okay.
All right, first, review and approve the minutes of the previous meeting. Everybody, I'm sure, gave rapt attention to the minutes of the prior meeting. Any questions or corrections or anything? Accept a motion to accept the minutes of May 4th.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll ask you to vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right.
5-0.
2, 4, we're 6 tonight, Louise.
I can't vote because I wasn't at the,
Oh,
I wasn't in the last
that's right.
meeting.
Yeah.
All right. Treasurer's report. You got a lot going on there.
Well, it's the second meeting, so I usually don't do one at this meeting.
Okay,
So it holds from the last
perfect.
minutes.
All right.
But now we'll have, at the next meeting, I'll have the through March.
Okay, excellent. So bills and forms, I knew we were gonna have a bunch of accounting stuff, but I guess we don't really, that doesn't need to be in until July, so we can
Yeah.
wait until you kinda,
Yeah, when I
Get all
do
that.
this one, I'll take a look at all this other stuff and see
Okay.
what we need to do for the end of year
Yep.
stuff.
all right, so moving right along, mail and notices. We got our certified copy of the town meeting article, so yay. Actually, all three copies? 3 copies, yes. So we're almost surely gonna need to give one for the land grant.
Mhm.
So that's just for our article?
Yeah, Article 23.
Okay.
Another paper clip, sure, excellent. So there are other, I guess we can, we'll wait, talk about this further down. And then we did have mail from CSX, once again telling us that they are going to be doing weed management along the tracks. Nothing we can really do about it, so.
I believe Manfield Bridge also doing their tracks, I forgot to grab that letter, but, are also doing weed management along their areas.
Right,
Yeah.
along their right of way, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. Well, we still have 5 more minutes till we get to Heather, so, I have in front of me, under forms, 2 reimbursements. Oh, hold on, AJ's got a stack. 1, 2, all right.
Two receipts for one and then.
All right, so the first one is for Mr. Walter Bickford. $15 for a subscription to the MACC handbook
A year ago.
a year ago. Oh, geez. Still,
I expected
yeah,
that.
still this fiscal year though, so,
Right.
Yep.
I made sure the date.
yeah.
What is the date on that? Well, I guess you're just submitting it now. so
Yeah.
it's okay.
Yeah. Anybody wanna give Walter $15?
We need a motion?
I really don't.
We need a
care.
motion.
All right, I motion to reimburse Walter $15 for the MACC subscription handbook, or handbook subscription.
I
Second.
said, oh my.
Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll ask you to vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? All right, so,
So 6-0.
I don't believe Walter voted actually, but, Okay, so then you need to fill out the top sheet and then we all need to sign that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, this is actually filled out already? Wow,
I know.
somebody did the work for me.
Uh-oh. Did I miss a page?
Well, no, this page is, these used to be handwritten. All right. So the next one is for AJ, for reimbursement for a beaver management class.
Right, I paid for that, it was scheduled for May 2nd, I think, and it got canceled.
Well, it got
As you were,
postponed.
postponed.
Yep.
And to September 14th, and now the new date is September 21st, but they are not gonna reimburse that, they want me to just sit on it until,
Right,
Don't you have a 22?
How much is it?
yeah.
$75.
308.
$75
Yep.
for,
For UMass Amherst
How much
Beaver
was that
Management class.
Pardon?
How much was it?
The class,
Yeah.
$75. That's,
okay, good, UMass
That's-
Amherst.
I wasn't here to
For
talk
what?
about
Beaver
that.
Management
Half
class.
price.
Okay,
But you don't need it. What are you gonna, never mind,
All
it's
right.
too late.
Okay,
I'd like to make a motion to reimburse AJ for $75 for the UMass Beaver Management Program.
Second.
further discussion? Hearing none, I'll ask you to vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I expect a summary of the.
Yes.
You wanna know what it was all about?
All those opposed? God, you'd think I'd never written my name before sometimes. That one. And next, we have 2 receipts. Oh, Dave didn't get you?
oh, I have Dave's,
Oh.
thing here. He did this.
Okay,
That's his invoice and here's his
okay.
W-9 or whatever that form is. So that's separate.
So,
This is just the hardware.
no. You don't. Okay, we're gonna have to do these out of 2 different pools. So we'll do this one. So the first one is for, so they're both for supplies for the fence at the Linden Street parking lot. First one is for bolts and washers and nuts. And the total is $272.84.
Yeah, that's more than we had originally estimated. But that's why we bring extra eyes in to look at this stuff. I realized that I had only budgeted for 4 bolts on each post and it's actually 8.
Oh. Why,
Because,
why,
because
yes,
2
it
boards
is.
come together and,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
3 kinds of people in the world, those who can count and those who can't.
Yeah.
So we're reimbursing AJ on this, or?
Correct.
Okay.
They already
There's
paid
another
for it.
Yep,
reimbursement.
he's already paid for it. We just need to make sure when we submit this to June that she knows it's for the fence.
Okay.
Okay, so the money for that.
Well, first we need to vote.
Okay.
Right, so the money for, I'm proposing we take this money out of our annual budget.
Okay, so all 3 so far annual budget.
Correct. But that's only gonna leave us, Robin, like $100 and something dollars.
Something like that, we
Right.
bought 462.
Yep. Yeah, all right, so this one, I'm proposing out of budget. When do I have a pencil?
Well, I mean, all these would come out of our budget, right?
No, this other one, I think we're gonna do out of the donations account.
Okay, cause these ones will come out of the budget too.
Yes, yep. Okay. Do I have a motion to reimburse AJ for the nuts and bolts?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to reimburse AJ for the nuts and bolts for the Linden Street fence.
Any
I'll
dis-
second.
Excellent. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll ask you to vote. All those in favor?
Yeah.
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, that one is coming out of the annual budget also, right?
Correct.
Okay.
That's that. Now, the next, oh good, thank you. 'Cause she's gonna ask for that.
Yeah.
Yep.
So So it goes right to
Um,
Dave.
Yep, so the next one is for Bedrock Farms, for the lumber. For the flat stock, we still haven't purchased the posts yet, we're working on that.
He gave us a really
He
nice
did.
discount on it.
He gave
Where's that,
20%.
AJ? Where's the Bedrock Farm?
It's
It's-
Dave Smith,
Oh,
Yeah.
his sawmill.
In Sterling. The total is $255, and I'm proposing we spend it out of, with the money that we've gotten for donations.
Inch and a quarter by 8.
Is there an official name for that fund?
She is calling it conservation donation.
Okay.
Do I have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to reimburse beaver.
Lumber.
Lumber. For
$55
$255,
even.
for the bridge. I mean.
The fence.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
My head's elsewhere.
I'll second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, I'll ask you to vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Alright, so that doesn't have a cover sheet though.
Yeah, the other ones I can submit tonight and then I'll get a cover on this one.
Okay, awesome.
Okay, so do we have to sign those tonight?
No, Carolyn already signed them, so we don't need to sign anything.
We don't need to sign the cover sheet that you're gonna do, I think we do.
There's another sheet, I thought this was the cover sheet that we needed to do, I didn't think there was another one on top of this. Let me look on our website.
Yeah. Okay, I think that's everything. Now we're late for you. Come on up, Heather.
Thanks for making this. So, two quick things. The first is just every year.
But
it
first,
comes
introduce
time.
yourself.
Oh, no,
I'm
okay,
not
yes.
sure everyone knows you.
Heather Simpson with Hands on Nature. In town, we do nature classes all year round. I have 19 Carter Street mostly, but also on the conservation line.
So this is this is not a hearing. This is
Correct,
appointment,
this is an
right?
appointment.
So two quick things. The first is I was wondering, I come every year at this time to see if we could use the land again for our summer nature programs, and also have the porta potty around the corner at the meadow where we have had it the last few years.
Like behind the wall, right?
Yeah.
It's worked out great.
Yeah, but around the corner, like, so even more to the entrance to the woods.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so they're so, the CSI, and they're so respectable, like, they never drive on that if it's wet, like, they'll really be careful with it coming and going.
Yeah, we've
So-
never had any problems.
Good, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, so hopefully that'll work again. So do you have to vote on that?
Probably.
Okay.
So does everybody understand? Okay. Motion?
I'll make a motion to, what is it, put the porta potty at Beaver Meadow?
Berlin Meadow.
Berlin Meadow,
And allow Heather to use the property for,
yeah, and allow the
Summer.
Heather, use the property for the summer.
Yeah.
do I have a second?
Second.
I think Walter got that.
Well,
one.
hold on. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, you're good
I
there.
appreciate it. And then I was just mentioning to Louise, does the Conservation Commission run the town pond also, right? Oh, no, okay, who
No.
is that?
Run
that.
that.
Like the town pond, I just had a couple of questions, like
Oh,
the.
no, it's just there. No, we don't even run it.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, but like the table
I
there,
think the DPW, I mean.
Okay, do you have any answer to that?
depends what's your question.
like two questions. The first is that picnic table is so dangerous, and I didn't know, like when you sit on it, either, like one end goes up, so you either get hit, like, I've done school programs in every class this spring, and the kids, like one kid will sit on it and they get propelled off, or they get hit in the head, it's so bad, like, they go flying, and so, I didn't know if there's money to replace it, or who I talked about that too, and worst case scenario,
Put
like I could
something on Facebook
donate
that
one.
the kids are down there and we need a table, and you'll find a couple of guys that'll build one for you.
Will they? Okay.
Sure.
certainly worth a shot, right?
Okay.
I'd try
Right,
that,
but
I
you're
would try
putting,
that
but you're
first.
putting it on town property, Walter, so there is
Yeah.
process and procedure,
Oh,
so,
so who
Oh,
owns
yeah,
that?
Berlin's changing, that's right.
So would that be the town of?
I'll reach out to, Fred Cummings, our highway,
Oh, yeah, I know,
Guy.
okay, thank you, would
and
you,
just,
alright,
ask him if it can be removed, and by chance, if there's a spare
okay,
table
thank you.
around, and,
Yeah.
or if there is a donation, just doesn't need to be passed and inspected, because we wouldn't want it to happen again, that somebody's like, oh, I got one, and,
I got an old one.
I got an old one.
Yeah.
Splinters, like so many splinters
Yeah.
too, yeah, okay,
I'll, get back in touch with Carolyn for you.
thank you,
Okay.
okay.
So they're gonna
that's really
remove the
good
one that's
overall.
there.
Yeah, and
And-
then it's ideal to have one there, cause like the kids all gather there for school programs
Yeah.
and stuff, so I was gonna like, if no one could purchase one, I was thinking I could ask Indian, or what is their name, Balance Rock, I've gotten them from them before, and I could
Okay.
maybe purchase it, but, you know, it's less, at least less,
Okay.
you know, I
So,
think.
yeah, it'd be nice if the town,
Yeah,
there should be stuff there.
it should be, it's nice, it's a good
Yeah, it's a good spot to
Right.
be.
And this probably isn't the, whatever, but I just had if I could ask your expertise, all the frogs are gone this year. Every tadpole the last 2 years
Oh,
is
no,
gone.
where? Out
At
of,
the town pond.
Really?
And then remember those giant snails, like I think the
Hmm.
brownies, we pulled them out of there, not even one.
I wonder if
Like,
the,
what the hell, the
well, cause they
trouts?
stock the
But I was
pond.
thinking that, but then they always stop it, unless
Right.
they're getting bigger and, you know, over time.
Might be if they're not being pulled out at the same rate that they used to be.
Yeah, right,
Cause it
'cause a
used
lot
to
are in
pretty
there.
much get fished clean, right?
And now I think someone told me they put 320 in this year.
Holy,
Well, it gets warm, it warms up and trout don't survive at a certain
Right.
temperature.
Oh, interesting, and then when the water goes
48
down, oh, okay,
about there.
but not one frog, isn't that creepy? There used to
That
be
is weird.
thousands of.
Well, they're blue herons, and they gobble them up like.
I know,
cherries.
exactly, they're amazing out there, they're so busy, okay.
yeah.
You
Anyway,
walk
I hope
along
it's
the edge
cyclical.
like a big vacuum cleaner, cleaning the frogs up.
I love that. Okay, so that's all from me, thank
Awesome.
you.
Good to see you.
Grateful to do more programs, yes.
Yep.
Yes, okay, so Heather and I talked about having her class do some work at the garden
Potentially,
as part of it.
Oh, cool.
Right,
potentially, yeah.
so,
So my homeschoolers, though, they end on Monday.
I'm sorry, what?
So my main classes, I would do it though, our last class is Monday, cause then we end for the school year, so I can do summer programs.
Right,
So maybe you and I could talk,
okay,
like when were you thinking of that?
Right, AJ's actually been
Right.
kind of
Oh.
spearheading.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Pollinator
mean-
Garden at the Meadow, like right where you park?
Oh,
yeah,
Thank you, okay. All right.
I think we're gonna,
so yeah, I mean, I'd be willing to work with you too, but I mean,
Yeah.
AJ knows a lot more about it than I do,
Okay,
but,
so what's the timing that you're thinking, the spring?
yeah, if we can do it,
Sooner,
by
okay,
about the 10th of June, I think it'd be,
okay.
the end of June,
10th.
10th.
I think,
okay,
we actually leaving for France for a month, June, so
June, okay.
probably before I go.
So regarding having students help, our last
Yep.
class is Monday. But we could still talk, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I could help personally a little bit, you know, between everything, but yeah, I think
Any
it's a
garlic
great
mustard
thing.
you wanna pull down there. And it makes a great pesto,
That's
so.
good to know, look at this, yeah, I love that thought of that, and that would be wonderful. Are the hives still there?
No, she took them out a couple of years ago and never replaced them. I'm not
Wow,
really sure
interesting.
why.
Without a reason for
The
just.
beehive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Summer Bees had a hive
Okay.
down there for a couple of years.
I think it would be a good spot, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Sue Rupp said that it got stolen.
Really?
Who would do
yeah, I
that?
think there was a
Who would
problem
take
with the
that?
hives or something, but I don't
Hmm.
remember what.
I just collected a swarm last week, about a week ago today.
Got an extra hive box you can put up
I've got an
there?
extra hive.
Nice.
Are we interested? Would the town be okay with that?
I mean, we've definitely had one there before.
Yeah,
Mm.
and it's nice for everyone to see it, and yeah.
Yeah. I even got stung one year.
Oh.
I was trying to
Weed?
I was trying to
Yes.
weed and I got just a little
Oh.
closer than they were comfortable with.
Mm.
Wasn't bad, but,
Yeah, Okay, so why don't I connect with you through Louise, like the three of us can talk and I'll see
Okay.
what I can help with,
Yeah.
even just hours myself. I don't know if the kids can help anymore.
Right, so it could be during one of their classes.
Possibly, yes.
Yeah.
But Monday's my last class and
Yeah.
we already have a frog curriculum.
Mhm.
But we can talk, we can still talk and see, I can help myself anyway.
Okay.
All right, okay, congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank
You
you.
want my
Awesome.
contact information?
Yeah, sure, what's your, you want to?
I don't wanna announce over there.
Got it.
Do you get a lot of Berlin kids in the summertime?
So I'd say a fifth.
That's it?
Yeah, but now I'm getting more like, because I'm doing programs in the school, they're all like wanting to do the programs too, but it's
That's
also
good.
so
That's
High
good.
there.
It's
Good for
so
you.
good,
Yeah.
I know, but it's so
Yeah.
much, it's so tough.
Make sure
But
you
it's
Yeah,
good.
sure.
Yeah, but a fifth of the Berlin kids, so they always wanna help
Mhm.
with some stuff.
Nice.
Okay.
Yay, good to see you
Well, good luck
all.
with your
All right,
summer.
good to see you.
Appreciate it, good to see
The
you
boys
all.
are well?
So good, thank you, so big. And then you're now, where's Savannah now?
Savannah just moved out in May.
Are we
No,
ta-
she
are
moved
we-
to Salem.
Are we talking about this right now, or are we gonna talk about it?
Well,
We
say hi
are
to
gonna
her.
talk about it.
Okay.
I'm gonna give
You
you
too.
my thing.
Good to see you,
So
Heather.
my last-
You're
Great
ready
to
to
see you
schedule the
guys.
bills, Carolyn.
My last,
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Forgot about that.
Yep. But I think you only need one, and you
Yeah.
can put all
You're
of
right.
them on there,
I was hoping to like just scan it all tonight and then
right?
that's not gonna work out.
One
All
more?
right.
Oh, well.
Okay, so near the really good town, the, garden. Oh, really? Next to that?
So we have a 7:30.
Yeah, it's 7:30 is Joe, so we're
And
gonna
then,
let them finish up real quick
Our
and,
website's exactly the
We have
same.
one minute.
Thank you.
awesome,
Oh,
all right,
Thank you, great to see you guys.
Bye.
Okay, thank
come
you.
on
Thank
up.
you, Louise.
So, Louise, this is also an appointment, not a hearing.
My name's Joseph Monahan, and I wanna thank you for the opportunity to come, and thank you for your service to the board. I know it's volunteers, so time is valuable, so it's greatly appreciated. I live at 81 Walnut Street with my family, we've been there for 2 years. And, coming to you to, request permission to do a little project in my yard. I have a portion of my yard that's referred to as a lower field at 81 Walnut. And I'm looking to remove some rocks, some boulders that are in the field. And essentially the reason why I'm looking to do it is it will allow my children to play in this portion of the yard. My kids are homeschooled, and this is basically their home. My house is their life. There is a section of the yard where there are about 6 interspaced boulders that I am looking to have removed. I have Mike Sawyer, my contractor, who has guided me through the initial process of this. At 6:30, Carolyn was kind enough to come up to my yard and take a look and see what we're actually proposing to do. So essentially, that's why I'm here to request permission from the board to proceed with this project. I know Mike's pretty well known in this town, and I believe it could be done with minimal disruption to any of the surrounding areas. So that's basically it.
Excellent. So, I showed you guys all the pictures, Walt is also familiar with the property. So, the picture that I showed you is standing in the driveway looking at the part of the yard. Walnut Street is on the right, and right along the edge, there's a culvert. So, there's definitely some, things that we need to just kind of pay attention to, and, Mike kind of talked about that he'll keep all his equipment on the uphill side of the rocks. So what I would like to propose is that, he fill out an RDA, just so that we have some documentation of the work that's gonna happen. And, we can vote on it at the next meeting. Everybody's, so if you could send him the link to the RDA, that would be awesome. And then I think you can fill it out online and just send it right back to us.
Deliver it electronic.
Yep, just email it.
Is there any fee associated with that?
There is not.
No.
right, that's why, you know, it's easier to do an RDA, for a project like this.
Okay, what does RDA stand for?
Request for determination of applicability.
So the reason is because there's a culvert on the
Yep.
property?
Yep.
And I think as Carolyn saw, the section of the yard that abuts the culvert is actually perfect. We're not proposing to do anything within that area. It's to depending upon where you're standing, it's to the left of that. And I would
Right.
say it's an average
It's
of,
on the south side of it,
On the
of
south
the
side.
line of rocks, yeah.
and it's probably 40 to 50 feet, the spread between where the culvert is and where the actual boulders start.
Yep.
But that section by the culvert is perfectly flat, it's ideal, so there's no reason to do anything to that at all.
So if everyone is in agreement that that's a good way to go,
Yeah, I have no problem.
all right, I think we have our group decision.
Okay.
All
So
right,
that's gonna be sent on an email to me, the
Yep,
link?
so I'll email you, yep.
Do you need my email?
Nope, I got it.
You have
cause
it?
you,
Okay.
yeah, you contacted us.
Very good.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, again, thank
All right.
you all, thank you very much.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Joe.
it.
Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
All right. How you doing?
Good.
Good.
We have to wait, or we?
We do have to wait,
Okay.
yep,
Yeah.
so 15 more minutes, well, 10 more minutes. So then, going down,
Is the next one here?
the next one is the
Oh,
hearing
it's
at
the-
7:45, yeah, so really, the only other thing I have is, and we don't get to vote on this tonight because I missed getting it on the agenda early enough, but so Walter has had his eye on these two parcels for quite some time now.
Is this new business?
This is the new business, yes.
Okay.
So there are two parcels, one is, the frontage is on Gates Pond Road, and the other is landlocked up in the woods. It actually abuts, Mark's property,
So does
that
this
called the,
abut
Green
the
Acres.
conservation land that's right behind my property? Is it that close? There's
Is
that
it,
little
it's a
parcel that
little
abuts
bit
mine.
further down towards
Okay.
me.
Okay.
Yep, so it's right behind, you can see, so, remember where Dick and Millie lived?
Oh, yeah.
So, I
I don't know who's there now.
don't know Leanne lives here, right? No, Leanne lives here. On this side,
Yeah, she would be behind and then.
right, Yeah.
So these are both on,
but I believe this parcel is that conservation land. This is the house that's in the woods that the driveway, the frontage is over across the street from me, and the driveway is over by Murphy's.
Yeah, behind my house.
Next to the Collections,
Yeah, so,
yeah.
yeah, cause their driveway goes through my property.
Yes,
Okay.
Yep.
Alright, so,
right, so that's that house, and so this is the piece,
okay.
the next piece. So
That would be
Walter
nice.
has occasionally written letters to the company that owns this property. Just so happens that those people are the people that I work for. So the last time Walter poked me about it, I went into her office and I said, have you thought about that? And she said, oh my God, I'd love to get rid of that. So that's how this came about.
So just a donation? We
Just
don't-
a donation, and she'll pay whatever legal fees we need to do a straight deed transfer.
Wow.
Does she live in town?
She lives in Marlboro. But her dad, owned land all over the place. Desiree's house that she got her land from him.
Okay,
So that is this lot right here,
okay.
129. The name of the corporation, the business that owns it?
Oh,
Lettle. Lot B2 and B3, and this piece is totally wet, the piece at the, so
I see it.
what he had intended was the way this lot was kinda squiggled in to get a house up in there, he was hoping to be able to do the same with this. Getting permission from At a Farm to have an easement, and they weren't interested, and he's since passed, so,
Okay. So
This
is
Berlin,
it possible to
this
get a
is-
trail in if we got an
Mhm.
easement?
it's too wet here. It
Um,
might be possible to get a trail in onto the back piece.
From
Go
Mark's
for
property?
your.
Yeah, no, they're not mine.
Possibly, and that is something we talked about at the select board. So, at the next meeting, I will be asking you to vote to accept this donation. Just so you all know. But we are, we have 7 more minutes, we can talk about it.
Don't talk it to death, just do it.
Well, is that adjacent to this, cause this is a piece of.
Correct,
ground, yeah.
yes, so Lettle, exactly, it does, abut that piece of conservation land, so that,
But there's no access to that either.
correct,
Yeah.
but if you look up here, this is,
Yeah.
Green Acres, so
Yeah.
we might be able to get in that way.
Is
Yes,
that
dear?
parcel behind me on here? I'm gonna put it over here.
So the donation is by the Little
Little,
family?
yeah, LED.
No, the
Company?
family name is not Lettle, the company name is Lettle,
Oh,
and it's L-E-D-L-E.
okay.
Yep, which I have no idea what that stands for. So, where are we here?
Up further than that corner.
In this corner, no, not there. This piece that has the X through it,
Oh, yeah, so that's my property right there. That's the back.
this one,
Yeah, so see where it cuts through, that's a driveway that goes up to 157.
right, so it's this piece right here, and this piece.
Okay, yeah, so that one on the front, on the other side of that driveway, that's my property.
This one.
That one,
This one, yeah,
so. And so which one is it that?
it's this one that we're talking about, and this one.
Oh, so both of those on there, actually.
Correct,
Wow,
yep.
that's nice. All right.
Yeah, they don't, like I said, the hope of her father was that she could get some access, some land from At a
Mhm.
Farm to connect them,
Oh.
but that never wound up happening.
Well, how big a acreage is that?
The small one is 1.25, and the big one is 3.91, so just over 5 acres total.
Okay, we can't vote tonight because it wasn't posted?
It was not on the agenda when we posted the agenda, because
Okay.
I actually forgot that we had a vote.
Well, that's okay.
And Peg reminded me at the select board meeting Monday night, so, so that is what's happening with
Yeah,
that.
there's a sign-in sheet here for anybody that's, come in. Sure, came.
Back one.
It's all you.
So this abuts land that's already in conservation?
Correct. Yep.
Good
Adding
deer-
to, go ahead.
Good deer hunting there.
As I was gonna say, adding to what Walter calls good deer habitat.
What's, Mark's property behind that abuts that piece, is there's a lot of extra land there too, isn't there?
Well, that, he just passed away last year. What's the matter? Right,
At a farm,
yeah.
right. You were gonna talk to them about maybe a CR?
Yeah, I can see it happening. I'm not just yet.
Okay.
Well, there's a lot of it that's so unbuildable. It's pretty, it's
Yeah.
a wet area.
It's very wet,
So,
except
you
for
know,
the
they can-
corner where they have
yeah,
the, yeah.
it's got the densest accumulation of vernal pools any place in town.
Yeah, you said there's 8?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's 5 or 6 of them, right, you can almost step over the knoll from one to the other, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Is there a network of eskers then?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Awesome. Well. 3 more minutes. Is Mark coming?
I don't know, I haven't talked to him.
Okay,
I think he was away last week, but I wasn't sure if he's coming tonight.
okay.
Oh, were you gonna talk about the parking lot, or?
We're just waiting our 3 minute, or 2 minutes
I
now.
just wondered if you had talked to, what's her name, about cutting brush along her,
Did not get the opportunity.
you'd be the one that do that.
Yeah, yeah.
That would be a good little piece of land to have associated with that.
Yeah. I think I know which one you mean, the one next to, the Yildises? No,
Well, no, I wasn't talking about that, but
okay, cause
that
that
one's
one's
all
gonna
right.
have a house.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, I was just thinking back, oh, you know what, now that I'm looking at Mark's property, with all the
Yeah,
houses back there,
good,
it's
okay,
probably.
good.
Yeah.
What's this big property though, is that that 1 yard back on Fosgate? Like the,
I think that's all the farm.
oh, you're, right. Oh,
Yeah.
that's probably what it is,
Yeah.
yeah, farm, yep,
Yep.
that makes sense. That would be nice to have.
Right?
Do we have a DEP number for this?
We do.
Yeah,
What's
I don't
the,
have it. My phone's out in the truck too, but I did find the post one though.
Yes,
it's
I think
like,
it's 1070262.
right, I thought
Yeah.
so.
0262.
Yep.
See, one more, it would have been the same as his house number.
I know, right? All right. Jack, why don't you introduce what we're talking about again, just,
Okay, so we're here, former Flat Penny Restaurant, Mark Adams owns it. We were here a month and a half ago, and they hadn't issued a number yet until about a week and a half ago. So, this building currently has a septic tank and a grease tank back here, and the leach field is on the neighbor's property. I didn't bring the big one today, figuring it was too cumbersome, but this is the little one, same thing. Grease tank, septic tank, and then we had a series of pre-treatment tanks to a pump chamber, to a pressure dose septic system out here. This leach field is set up very similar to the one that was approved about 10 years ago or so, that was never put in under 2 owners previous. It's come to the point now where the former current owner is no longer in the picture. Mark buys it and needs a new septic system and other things. So this is the plan that I presented to you the first time. It has changed a little bit, which we talked about that it may change. This is what it looks like now. I did not have the chance to color it, so I can show you. The only difference is we took out these 2 pre-treatment tanks and swapped them out for 2 8,000 gallon, they're basically giant microfast tanks. They're gonna do the same thing as what the other ones did, but this one is done through an approval process, provisional approval process through DEP. So the waste that comes through here, it goes from ammonia to nitrates in the first tank. The second tank will take the nitrates down before it goes back into the septic system. There is a series of pumps that, there's 3 in this tank, 3 in this tank, that will actually push it back into the septic tank for a denitrification process. So it continuously circulates through everything, and then a small portion will come out and get dosed into the leach field.
and the change was because DEP requested the change?
Yeah, so I went through a consultant, that's fairly well-known through DEP, and he had set up it. Scientifically speaking, it does the same thing, but he had the wrong units. He had more, versus commercial units.
Got it.
So with that being said, we actually went back to another manufacturer, and we've got these 2 tanks that are set up under provisional use for DEP. If we were to continue this, again, it does the same thing, it's just that we have 1 tank less over here, even though it's a larger tank, but,
Is it all bacteria? Treatment?
it's mostly changing it to, get the ammonia out, because it's a bar and a restaurant, it's mostly urine.
Right.
So you're gonna have high BODs, and then it's just gonna
Right.
change form throughout the tanks to.
Will it require pumping, frequent pumping?
No, not so much. I mean, you're gonna have a regular 2-compartment septic tank here,
Yeah,
here, and then the
yeah.
grease tank, but it's just changing
Huh.
the complexity of
the,
the effluent.
The leach field, you're gonna drive over, what are those concrete,
These, no, that's just a stone and pipe leach field, and they're just set at different elevations. Every 20 feet, they drop about a half a foot down. 'Cause
And
if-
the parking lot's gonna be on top of that,
Correct,
though.
yep.
Yeah.
Yep, and again, this was the same design that came through the Board of Health a number of years ago, we just modified it with all the tanks, and as a matter of fact, the old design that was approved, had a microfast tank, which nowadays is undersized for what we're doing here. So, technology has changed in 10, 14 years since the last one was approved, so, yeah.
So are these new plans?
Yes.
Yes, these two are for you guys. I did email you a copy, I believe, of them, so
Yep.
you'll have 2 paper copies and a PDF copy. There was one comment on the DEP, website for the job number, or for the, it talked about the floodplain. So if you go under Mass Mapper, the old Oliver, it shows generically that the floodplain comes in and along this east side. If you go to the actual firm maps, and I printed these out, you guys can have these if you want them. The elevation, of the floodplain in Northbrook is actually stepped. These are just basically the same map, just 2 different looks at it. But that one has a better view of the parking lot. Our
Right,
whole
so
property
this
is
is-
outside of any flood
Right,
zone.
so this is the tracks,
Correct,
and this is the parking lot.
correct.
Yep.
So you
Alright,
can
then.
see based on, this is again from the National Flood Hazard, website, both of these maps come from. This is the detailed, more, up-to-date one that we would use. And our site is completely out of it.
Okay.
And again, here's our site right in here. And then you've got the train tracks that run through here.
Yep.
So I just wanted to clarify that in case anybody had any questions regarding the DEP comment on that. But like I said, if you do use the Muni map or the Mass Mapper and click on the floodplain, it just shows a generic
Right.
line that comes way up
Well,
like this.
even the wetland lines and everything are all
Yeah,
ish on Mass Mapper.
correct.
Yeah.
So obviously she didn't look at it, or he didn't look at it.
So who drew up those plans?
These here,
No,
our office, Bills
Right,
and Roy.
they were revised on May 2nd.
May 2nd?
May 2nd.
Give you guys that one, because it's a blow-up copy.
To include a microfast system. Everybody else wanna see this? Microfast.
Fast, F-A-S-T. Okay.
Okay, make sure this gets put with this.
So other than the change out of the tanks, nothing else has changed, everything else has stayed the same.
Right. Now, I think the last time we talked some about soil storage for while all of this digging was happening.
That would have to be taken off-site, we spoke about, because a lot of it has some serious cobbles and boulders in it. So there's really no place on site to store it, and then anything that would be, replaced would be brand new flowable fill,
Clean.
sand, clean
Right.
sand all around, correct?
Okay.
You know, the pavement in this area would all be coming up, that would all have to be redone, that would be taken off-site. Again, if you look at it, You know, the parking lot, the edge of pavement actually comes way down to here. Here's the two telephone poles and what used to be the island, I believe, that the road used to come up this way and then split. And then the town or the state moved it over. So, but they park all the way down. I think this is the edge of pavement here, so the property line's back in this area, so
Yeah,
it's
I
really
mean,
no.
people even park on the other side of the tracks
Oh, yeah.
sometimes, yeah,
Yeah, somebody was actually parking here today. I don't know if they were fishing or not, but.
probably.
But yeah, that, I mean, if that can go in the order of conditions, I don't have any issue with that, and I don't think Mark does, because he was here when we talked about that last time.
Okay.
So,
Right, so anything that's dug up is going to be removed, okay, and then clean fill brought in.
correct.
All right, does anybody else have any other questions, anything else they'd like to see in the order of conditions? We talked about wattles and silt fence where possible, cause you can't stake silt fence into pavement.
Correct.
Now the Board of Health, obviously.
We've got that coming up in about 2 weeks. So DEP is also reviewing this plan as well,
Okay.
David Boyer. He had one quick crack at it, and he started looking at it the other day.
I mean, obviously, it was proposing something new that would never happen, but
No.
you're got an existing situation there, and it looks like the good engineers are doing it, and so the DEP's looking at it, and you've got the Board of Health, and, yeah.
Right, so the biggest
Alright.
thing for us is, you know, being within the riverfront, you know, we're concerned about the digging up in the soil.
Yeah, so here's the 200-foot line right here.
Right.
And then we have the 100-foot back here. Here's the edge of wet, 50-foot, and then the
And-
100-foot is.
And the tracks aren't actually on here, right,
Yeah, they are.
This is the center line.
of the
Of the
tracks?
tracks.
The railroad.
Okay,
Yeah.
You know,
So their easement is right into here.
got it. Alright. So, but wattles and silt fence, yeah, we get that. Anybody else have anything? Alright,
I moved it with approval.
all those in favor of accepting the amended plans? Say aye. Aye. All right, excellent,
Thank you.
thank you.
I'll let Mark be in touch with you guys for the order.
Yeah, so, we'll write it, and then at our next meeting, we'll all sign it,
Okay.
and then, we'll figure out the best way to get, usually what we do is mail it, but I don't know if Mark wants to pop by and just pick it up.
I'll let him
So,
know. I'll
yep.
talk to him in the morning.
Okay,
All right. Thank you. Have a good
excellent,
night.
thank you.
Thank you. So we have to vote to close the meeting, the hearing.
Oh, we do have to vote to close the hearing, thank you.
Okay. I'll move to close the hearing.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jack.
I know, I need a cheat sheet.
Hi.
So meet on Monday?
Geez, I thought we were gonna see you guys for a little bit of time, but welcome.
Thank you, thank you. Can we go back to Zoom, cause these gas prices are killing me.
I know, right? Come on up.
Thank you.
Yep, sign in
Thank
sheet.
you.
How you doing?
Good to see you.
Okay, so,
And did you sign the?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, we're signing.
Mhm, thank you.
For the record, Alex Parra for the applicant. With me is Leo De Silva.
Alright, and what is Leo's role?
Leo.
One of the partners.
Okay,
is
just
manager.
curious, it came up after the last meeting and I'm like,
No,
I
he's like-
think.
He's one of the head honcho, one of the two. So, update, since Since the last meeting, we've made 2 attempts through the Lieutenant Governor's office to try to get some action out of the Conservation Services. That hasn't gone anywhere. There was-
Except that they did acknowledge, they at least
well,
wrote back and said, yeah, we have it and we don't have a date.
Yes. Okay.
So,
And they're bringing back, I don't believe she's back yet, Irene Delbona, who used to be the conservation restriction reviewer. And we did get a response that they didn't know whether Irene would be doing it or Mr. Anderson, and we still didn't have a date. I spoke with Krista Collins at SVT, trying to get ideas about how to move this along. And during the conversation with Krista, I reminded her that SVT was gonna be the monitor on the conservation restriction. And it came up that they would be willing to consider taking title to the conservation parcel, which is permissible under the zoning bylaws, one of the alternatives. There are really 3 alternatives. One is the conservation restriction. The second is to convey to the town after a town meeting vote. I'm not sure why that's in the bylaw, since 8C property doesn't really need town meeting vote. And the third is to,
Yeah, I think the town has to vote to accept it, is
Yeah.
that right, Walter? Yeah.
that's what the bylaw says, yeah.
Mm.
And the third is to a conservation organization like SVT. And the advantage, of course, of doing that is it doesn't require state approval. So I have written suggesting that, and that's why I'm here tonight as one of the alternatives. The other update is on the list of units. The list of units and the closing dates that we had, previously provided hasn't really changed, except for to say that the affordables are now coming online. They're going to be, under the bylaw, you have to do 50% of the affordables before you hit the 50% mark on the units. So we have 5 of those coming online.
by coming online, you mean the building permits have been applied for?
The building permits have been applied for, and we're expecting construction on those 5 units to be completed. Not all at the same time, but before September, right? September.
We actually have a couple already, 1 or 2 up already, affordable
Framed?
units. Yes.
Yeah.
We're happy, and I actually have a signed deed to give to you guys to hold, if that's what the commission is interested in doing as an alternative to the conservation restriction. We would have to go to the planning board to get an A&R approval of the plan for that deed. And the reason for that is that, like the conservation restriction, we would have to cut out as a separate parcel the well protection area. Different, instead of an easement, it would have to be a separate parcel.
Right, that you would retain ownership of.
That we would retain ownership of. So that's where we are. And really like to find a way to get this done without having to keep coming back to you guys. I'm sure you would be happy not to see my smiling face anymore. So there we are.
So you said you have a signed,
Yeah,
signed by
signed by, on this case.
you guys.
Yeah, the deed.
Right, but,
type.
right, so we would definitely need, if we decided to take that route, we would certainly need some sort of confirmation from SVT.
Yes.
And I would assume, so maybe just the planning board. Does anybody else?
Does town meeting have to vote to accept?
Well, that's what I'm wondering, because town meeting approved.
Which
it-
includes
the-
that.
Right, so this project was approved at town meeting, so I don't know how, if it would be considered a substantial change that would need to be voted on at town, on the town meeting floor. And if that's the case, then you might as well donate it to us.
Well,
But I don't
that's-
know,
yeah.
right,
No, we don't have a, just so you understand, we don't have a preference.
right, other than you don't wanna wait, and I
Well,
get that, yeah.
no.
We just missed the other one, yeah.
No, yeah, correct. I mean, one of the things that the commission, the members of the commission have expressed, you know, is the fact that you've been burned in the past and that you're very concerned not to get burned again. And so the offer to give you a signed deed presently is like, again, you don't have to record it.
Right, but I don't know that it actually means anything without the other approvals that we would need. It's a wonderful gesture,
Well,
but
it's not,
if
it's,
it's,
it's not intended just as a gesture, it's a, you know, an attempt to satisfy the concerns
Right.
of the commission. And, you know, it could be, I don't know, tomorrow Irene Del Bono wakes up, she walks in and we're number one on the list.
could be.
That would-
If we keep making a stink, they're
Keep
gonna go,
reading.
give her this one, you do this one first, get these people off my back.
That would be great, but, in the meantime, at least I'm trying to give you some security for your
Right.
concerns. And after this, I'm flat out of ideas. So next time I'm just gonna come, you know.
You're just gonna come
clap
in,
in hand.
like, bring cookies next time, please.
And,
What I was wondering is, does the town meeting have to accept the gift of land, not just this change in this plan? I forget what
So what he's saying is if they gift it to us,
Yeah.
that's true, but if they gift it to SVT, it is not, they do not.
Oh, okay,
Right.
right.
So that's.
Do we care if it goes to SVT though? I mean,
I don't, no, as long as, all we're interested in our CR.
Well, but that's what he's, it,
it wouldn't matter if it went to SVT,
right,
right?
the conservation restriction would not include the town. It would be on the property, but SVT alone would hold the CR.
Okay.
well, SVT would hold title, there would be nothing to prevent SVT from giving you the CR, except for, of course.
Time.
But then if we did it over to SVT, there's no guarantee that down the road that they might try to sell that land or something?
No, they can't.
They cannot,
No,
because of this,
right, that's their job, is to protect and hold land
right,
And
as a
they're-
land
yeah.
conservation trust.
okay,
Right, so that I'm at least comfortable with.
okay.
Yeah, I'd be comfortable with that.
So if the commission is comfortable with that, I would need to communicate that to Krista. I mean, they would have to do their thing with reporting.
Right,
I wanna think about it between meetings before we give any word on it.
right, I mean, okay,
And if SVT took it, then they'd be onus, they would be in charge of the trails system that's in place, right? So,
Yeah, but we
Well,
have
don't
an
we-
easement
Don't-
agreement
Yeah,
with
you already
SVT.
have your easements
But we have
Recorded.
it,
right,
recorded.
would SVT have to honor it?
Yes, it's in the record now, so they would take
Okay.
subject to the trail easement.
So we're gonna cut out horses,
what?
He's being a nudge.
Yeah. I have another question too, okay, so, there was, SVT was going to monitor the property,
Correct.
but it was gonna be paid from money that would come from,
Which they've already paid,
right,
which, is that in those accounts?
I don't think so, I don't know if we've ever gotten.
Yeah, so they did give us a check and I gave it to Jude, and then we're waiting on the, agency account agreement.
Okay,
To do
so it
anything with
hasn't
that.
actually been deposited
Yeah.
yet.
okay, so
Okay.
how would
So,
that
but we
work?
have it.
If SVT holds the conservation restriction, would we still pay for the monitoring?
We would not. What we would probably do realistically is we would give you your check back and you would probably give
Right.
them some money to pay for the monitoring.
Well, SVT typically now likes to get a
A
endowment.
yearly, yeah, yeah,
Sorts.
yeah, yeah.
Yes.
This is come from giving your land away to paying to give your land.
That's right.
Paying someone to take it, huh?
Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah, I wanted to come and put this before you, because we really basically got another month before we're in crisis again.
Right.
So, trying to get it resolved.
So I'm gonna poll everybody and just see, this is not a vote, this is just a, in theory, how do you feel about this, and is this a direction we should pursue? Walter?
I mean, I tend to lean towards doing it, but I want just
Yeah,
talk about
the-
a little bit.
sure.
What is total, what acreages are we talking about?
So,
How many acres?
Right, so it's the piece that parallels Highland Street,
Mm-hmm.
and then the back piece, and then the piece that's on the other side of the well piece at the southern portion.
so yeah, the two parcels are separately 22.5 acres and 21.8 acres. And that's after cutting out the well protection.
And that can I just see that for a second?
Sure. Got a bunch of copies.
Right, so that does. So it becomes parcel B1, which follows this line
I feel like I know this place so well now.
down to here,
And this
and
is the
then
well.
B2, or parcel D, right,
Oh,
and
yeah,
then
these are the
parcel
trails?
B2 would be
Yes.
cut out of it.
And then we propose another one that we wanna put in.
So it's parcel B1 and
How would
parcel
that
D?
change with
Yes.
SVT?
Yep.
That's what I was asking her, it would still be in the trail easement would still be there, so it
And then
wouldn't change
B2 is the
anything.
well?
But I did
Yes, that's right.
propose another trail to put in that,
And they had agreed that they would let us do it at a later time.
yes, to add it to the CR if
So
they
would
went that way.
SVT be held to that?
I hope so, yeah, cause that,
Right, so do you hear Holly's concern?
Yes, I do. I mean, I could only go to a point with.
Sure,
this.
right,
Yeah.
it's just, we had kinda kicked that can down the road, and
Yeah.
I think the road has ended, if
Yeah.
this is the path that we're gonna take.
Right.
So that would need to be addressed.
I missed your concern, what was that, Holly?
oh, there was a major piece of the trail that was kinda missing, so we remapped it and gave the GPS coordinates and stuff to add that back in. Cause I think originally when we wanted a certain trail, but because of the wells, we had to redo it, and at the time, when I think it was Brian did it, he kinda did the wrong one. But it's still viable, but ideally, for everybody's,
Right, and it
Best
wasn't
purposes
on
of
the
better
trail easement document.
no, right.
And we agreed that we would submit the trail easement document as is, knowing that we could add that other piece when we finalize the CR. So, okay, AJ, thoughts?
Yeah, we do have to hear from Sudbury Valley Trust about how
About their expectations, and, okay,
they wanna proceed with this.
okay.
That was the only concern I have.
Yeah, I agree with that, I think we hear from SVT, but I think this is a reasonable solution, if
Right.
they're on board with it.
But I think we need to discuss it with them,
Yes.
you know?
Yep.
Yeah, I just had a question, are there any other pieces of property in Berlin that is under conservation, just SVT?
With SVT,
Just SVT?
Yeah, the
yeah, by
Gretchen.
40 caves,
Yeah.
40K?
Part of
And-
40 K's?
not 40 caves itself, that's
No.
ours, but they own,
Garfield Woods.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's right.
Steve's property.
And that has worked out with no
Steam's
problems,
property,
was
the
It's
Great
not
Oak is
SVT.
just them?
Yeah, it's just them, I'm pretty sure, it's just SVT, they're the ones that put the trail in and.
Oh, well, most of the properties they co-hold with us, but
Right.
they
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I
just
thought it
put
was
up their
them.
signs.
Oh,
Yeah.
it was just their sign,
So that's
it's
the
like-
nicer sign.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Garfield Woods is theirs.
The explanation of that is simple, we own, we have the CR and stuff, but what we do is donate a CR, CR to Sudbury Valley as an extra link.
Right, so we
To
co-hold
make sure,
it.
so the town can't change its vote to put a school in or something, you know, that, I mean, you can change conservation land pretty easily in a town.
Don't
with a
tell
town
them.
meeting vote.
Without a CR and without a
Yeah.
CR that's co-held with a
Yeah.
land trust,
So we.
which is why we do it that
Right,
way.
right.
Yeah.
Pipe down,
Let's be
Walter.
clear.
I can see another 60 units going in there.
Out, get out of my meeting.
Yeah, well, fortunately with this town, that wouldn't work, believe me.
Right.
Well,
Right.
so the next steps would be, can I try to arrange a conference call with Krista?
I think what I'd like to do is have Krista come into the next meeting. We're working very closely with her on another project and, so we know
Right.
Krista quite well.
It might be useful for her to come and do a site visit before
Sure.
next time.
Right, so, do you want us to arrange? Do you wanna talk to her about moving forward and just keep us on the, emails? Do you want,
Sure, that's fine.
okay,
Okay, so we're gonna arrange a meeting with Krista.
right. And did I already schedule something for 7:30 at the next meeting?
Would it be better to arrange it as a site visit?
Oh,
with her?
actually, I did, the RDA, just tonight.
Yep.
Right, so,
Okay.
right, he's 7:30 at the next meeting,
When's the next meeting?
June 1st.
Do you wanna just do it as a site visit instead? Does that make sense to get her out there? Or do we have to have it here on record?
Well, if we can do a site, if we all go on site visit, we have to post it, which is fine, but, I
was just
still,
saying,
right, I still would like to have a conversation.
Okay, then don't worry about that,
Yeah.
we'll just do the meeting here.
Well, I would just, I mean, I think it would be useful for her to have a site visit before the meeting.
Sure.
So I'll
Yep.
try to arrange that and,
Right, and just let us know when it's happening, and hopefully at least one of us can make it. Holly, you're not traveling anytime soon? You'll be around?
I'm
I'll
in
be
Florida
around.
next week.
I would love to get out there, but
I know.
next week I'm in Dallas and then, never mind.
Right.
I don't have time the next 2
We'll
weeks.
see.
You'll
I'll
be
hang
back
around
before
most of
June
the time.
1st,
I
right?
will, but
Yeah.
yeah, but it's just,
Okay.
Okay.
So I think we have a path forward. It feels like, dare I hope,
the next time I come out, it's gonna be $6 again.
right?
bring cookies too.
Yeah.
The cookies are cheap.
So should we double check to make sure that it doesn't have to go through a town vote, or do we know for sure it doesn't?
For SVT, it shouldn't, right? I mean, that's essentially a private
Yeah, I mean,
land
well,
transaction,
we can,
I think.
I'll actually, I'll give that to myself.
I've gotta imagine Krista would be able to guide us on that, but I would think it would be a
Well,
private.
no, cause it's the town
That's
bylaws.
the town,
Yeah, but that wouldn't really include us, right? If it was between them and SVT. we wouldn't really be a party to it immediately, like, in the short term. It would be between them, right?
I guess, I mean, I think we still need to,
Cause
I don't know, maybe not.
I would think
Right.
if they're conveying the land to SVT, then it's a transaction between the two of them and it doesn't include the town, and then the CR.
It does include the planning board to divide the lots.
Yeah, but that would be like any other transaction, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So,
Well-
We have to agree to this though, cause like,
Yeah.
right now,
Right.
yeah. But in terms of like town meeting though, I don't think we need town
I
meeting.
think right, and that is what
Yeah.
Alex was saying, the bylaws also
Yeah.
say. Right, so we'll just double check that
Yeah.
to confirm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll file the A&R plan with the planning board, and that'll get us in front of the planning board to, and if they have a concern on that.
Well, I'm also on the planning board, just so you know. I'm not in charge by any stretch, but,
Small town.
no,
Just give you the Mylar.
yeah, right.
Start working on the second mortgage right now, because you're gonna need it for gas money.
But the planning board's still meeting on Zoom currently, so,
Lucky you.
yeah.
July 15th though is the deadline.
Yeah.
So what did you call the thing that you're gonna file with the planning board?
A&R, approval not required plan.
A&R, okay.
I actually do have another thing about the parking lot, remind me. Right, so that list, you had emailed that list.
Yeah.
I think we need to, cause we let the building inspector know which properties,
Right, that's the first 13 on the,
correct, but
on the
isn't,
list.
so what's going on with number 15 here, unit 50?
Number 15 is, unit 50 is not under agreement yet.
Okay, so I don't have to, I thought one of them had been swapped out when I read it the other day, but
Do we
apparently
know
not.
which ones are the affordable?
Nope, and that's
Yeah, so
not,
on the second page of the list is the,
So you've added page
Actually,
one
yeah.
to this
Oh.
little that you gave us
Really.
before?
shouldn't be
Yes.
public knowledge.
Right.
Nope,
For that.
Never mind.
No, that's a good point, 'cause I was gonna
So you
ask the
can
same
have
question,
this.
AJ.
Okay.
yep,
So they.
Like to prioritize them, but
And then.
that makes sense.
yeah,
Okay.
no, that's,
He said this was not important.
Yeah, they fixed the spelling on it. They had a misspelling on Spofford Road.
Oh, right.
yeah, I don't,
Yeah.
I have nothing to do with
Yeah.
it.
And it was in the advertisements for the units.
Yes, I heard
One
about
was
that.
sport, and one was sport.
Yeah,
I'm going, where are those places?
yeah. Okay.
yeah, add that to the
Okay, so
packet.
you don't need this list?
All right,
Um,
so, I will,
And I'll leave you a copy of the proposed deed, just for
Sure.
records. That would go to, SVT.
fold these up. All right, and so you're gonna arrange a site visit with Krista? We're gonna ask her to come to the next meeting, we're gonna say 7:45?
7:45?
Yep. Yeah, that one shouldn't, right. conversation. See if we can
Okay,
get somewhere.
you don't wanna give me a 66 occupancy certificate tonight?
Get out.
No, without cookies.
Yeah.
Yeah, cookies might
No,
be
that's a
easier.
bribe,
Oh,
so.
yeah, you're right.
Thank you very much.
Wow.
All right,
Have a
good
good
night.
I think I missed that.
Yeah, it's good, don't put that in the notes.
Yeah.
Well, no, I would put it in the notes. I might put it in the notes, but I wouldn't put it in the
5 minute bio break.
Sure.
Oh,
Taking a 5-minute break?
Yeah. Okay. That'll give me time to scan these checks so I can drop, although, these usually go to the window there, right? Which office is that? The one-
No, they don't go to the they go in, actually in our mailbox is a manila envelope that just
These go to
gets,
June? I thought these went to the window.
That's the tax collector's the first one.
What am I dropping? I dropped
June's
something
right
off
there.
there. What the
Yeah,
hell did
we
I drop
put
off
it
at that
in-
window then?
your personal taxes?
Maybe, maybe, I don't know. I
Yeah.
feel like I went to that window for something.
Um,
Maybe they were like, why are you giving me this?
Right, here, June, conservation's a little messed up.
Yeah. That wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, no, it goes into June's mailbox.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, that makes it easier then.
Yeah.
All right, let me scan these then, so
The
I can do
question
that
is,
tonight.
which mailbox? The one in the hall or the one next to Margaret's office?
I use
No,
that
I use the
envelope.
one in the, one outside of Margaret's office, especially for checks.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, you don't put it in her box there? In the thing there?
Here in the hall?
In the room, no, in the room down.
In the room, yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
But there's also mailboxes in the hall.
yeah,
Yeah.
what's up with that?
They're trying to find space. We're cleaning everything, don't you worry.
No, I know, but why are there duplicate mailboxes?
Because I think that they were always duplicate mailboxes and no one ever raised the question of why there are two.
Really? Where were they?
Where is anything in this?
In the basement?
Probably.
And someone said, oh, look, we could use these.
Thanks.
As things get cleaned out, it's, look what we found. Yeah.
Yep.
You don't have anything to be cleaned out here, do you?
Yeah, we've
My truck.
been, Walter cleaned our closet and files years ago, and then John did it a couple of years ago, and so
Okay.
we try to keep up with it.
Just wanna make sure nothing gets,
Hands off.
This is
Hands
fast.
off our closet.
I would put a sign on it,
Okay,
seriously, like,
conservation,
burned,
all
cleaned,
set,
all set, nothing,
hands off.
yeah.
Okay. Nothing to see here.
Correct.
All right, as soon as Maddie comes back, we will resume. And we just really have, one specific thing that I wanted to tell you that Fred told me about the parking lot. And then I think I'm good, unless you wanted to go over the Pollinator Garden thing.
Most
Thoughts?
about for information.
Okay, we'll do that.
And if it's interesting enough, I'll do some measuring. And some of the plants we're taking out may have some value to somebody.
Get rid of the daffodils.
Well,
No, we gotta wait till the meeting's back
Yeah.
on.
yeah.
AJ, so
Right.
what do these, do the plants you want to substitute for
Okay,
what?
hold on, 1 second. All right, we're back on. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, this idea appeals to me a lot, but will it be as attractive as the flower? I've heard a couple people this year say, all right, particularly, oh, the daffodil, the one that looks great, you know, looks beautiful, and
They do.
that's what the purpose, that's why we put it in there, you know, to improve the aesthetics of the town, make the town look good and everything, and that's the key thing for that particular guy, unless these things, they all butterfly bush, they're all attractive and flower out, huh?
Yeah. We floated the idea of, it says pollinator garden, but pollinator, bird friendly, And, what I'm trying to do here is perhaps move away from some of the, cultivars, the hybrid plants and flowers that are less attractive to beneficial insects and birds and so on, and move more toward these, native, species.
Well, I think it's a good enough idea, so you do it, don't just work our way into it. I think you almost ought to have, some signage there to explain what it's about, and even call in a reporter to have something in the eye of a Worcester Telegram or something about the notion that you're talking about, which is a great notion, and if we put that in there, hopefully that would, people would say, oh geez, I want some of that in my yard, you know. By the way, Gail said, gonna have Baltimore Orioles, so she got one of those grape jelly things,
Yep.
2 hours.
Wow.
I have not seen an Oriole. I can't remember the last time I've seen an Oriole in that. 2 hours, there was a male Baltimore Oriole on
Wow.
that.
What did she put out?
It's a,
Grape jelly.
yeah,
That's a thing?
It's a, yeah,
Grape
grape
jelly
jelly
and
or,
also,
or
oranges.
have orange halves.
Yeah,
Yep.
we do
Yep.
oranges.
I put out orange halves before, and I didn't have any luck with those, but this grape jelly thing, we're sitting there having our coffee, and we got bluebirds here, and hummingbirds on the feeder there, and the orioles coming back and forth, and tree swallows down the other side of the field, and it's, really good.
You know the bluebird boxes that my dad built?
Yeah,
I put one of them on my light pole,
are you okay?
and I've had wrens in them for the past couple of
Oh,
years.
shoot 'em.
I have actual bluebirds nesting
Oh,
in
good,
my bluebird
good.
box. I'm so
Yeah.
excited.
Yeah, me too.
Right in my front yard.
Because ours were taken over by wrens, and this year now it's bluebirds. I'm like,
Yeah.
finally.
Yeah, that's
So it's
exactly.
you know what?
Yeah, I was so
weird.
excited. I know.
Me
I don't
too,
know.
I'm
Maybe
excited.
last year was a bad year for wrens and the
Yeah,
bluebirds.
so
You know?
The wrens will go
Right.
in and peck the heads of bluebirds.
I know.
Yeah.
You know,
Really?
they
I thought
clump two
bluebirds were
tonight.
nasty.
We're sitting there
No,
with
it's
our
the
coffee.
wrens are the
Right.
nasty
Boom.
ones.
Yeah.
Don't put up with
And I
it.
had a bluebird house,
Nasty
there was a
little things.
bluebird in it, all of a sudden it disappeared, I opened the box and it was full of sticks and
Yep,
That's a
grass.
wren.
That's a wren.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just plain old grape jelly,
Yeah, take it, what's it, grape jelly?
Like Welch's or
Welch's.
something.
Welch's, yeah,
Yep.
and this screws on the top, you tip it upside down, and it's orange, it must be the color that just brings them in, but, and you have a screw on the bottom of it, so you can make the jelly keep flowing out, you know, and go out and give it a couple of turns every day, and,
So it's an Oriole
works pretty-
feeder
it's
that
an
you
Oriole
put
feeder.
jelly in.
I don't know where she got it, I think she ordered it, as a matter of fact, 'cause
Right.
we went down to Lowe's and stuff, and we couldn't find them
yeah,
around.
so it's a
Right.
special bird feeder, and you put a jar of,
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Or you can
Google it
just
up.
go get one, Louise, that fits, it's a cup, you can just go out every day and just throw jelly in it.
Right.
So, yeah, either or.
I didn't hear what you said.
It's just a container that is, so it's a plastic container, and within the plastic container is a glass bowl. And so every morning we just go out and throw jelly in it, clean it out, get all the bugs out of it, clean it out, put it back in.
I like the
Yeah, the
continuous
self-feeding.
feed.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah,
Who
we
would've
haven't
thought?
cleaned ours, it's been
I
up for a
know.
couple of weeks, and
So you mentioned the garlic mustard earlier, I was out on the Bruce Freeman Trail this weekend, biking, and they actually had, I don't know who did it, I didn't get a chance to stop and take a picture, but they had, trash cans set up with like pictures on it, and, you know, it said invasive species, and it had all, and so, like, it was there for people to pick some, and put it in the bins along
That's
the way.
awesome, yeah.
So,
Get
when we have our rail trail,
Yeah,
next
Yeah,
time
I have a ton of it in my front
I know,
yard.
yeah.
yeah, I would love to organize a garlic mustard pull one of these springs. Just like Earth Day, but
Right.
instead of picking up trash, you're
Yeah.
pulling garlic mustard.
It is
'Cause it's
actually edible,
yes,
right,
well, that's what, it was brought over by the early settlers as a garden herb.
right,
Mm.
dandelions also,
Yep, but it escaped.
yeah.
dandelions are good, but how do you eat garlic mustard, the leaves?
Yep.
Just like dandelions?
I don't know that I know that you can make a pesto out of it, like grind them up and
Oh, yeah.
put oil and,
You can go online and type in recipes using garlic mustard and it'll pop up.
you'll come up, yeah, tons will come up.
Right.
You know, the darn Japanese knotweed is edible too.
Yeah.
The what?
Japanese knotweed is
Not,
edible.
you know.
Is it edible?
Yeah.
Really? How would you, the
What
leaves?
part of
Laura
Yeah, like
Buskey,
what
Laura
is-
Buskey keeps saying,
the
why
new
don't you
spring
just eat
growth?
the stuff?
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
This does not seem like
Huh.
a really
I don't know.
attractive garden, this looks like my front lawn with all the
Right.
yeah.
So, I think this,
anyway.
right, so, I mean,
What
Yeah.
we'll find with, this is a partial recipe, I don't know that we can do it all in 1 year.
right,
But, yeah, I said, take out most of the daffodils, well, I mean, they're in there as thick as they can be, and I
Right.
think they're overcrowded,
right, we
that-
probably could divide them.
yeah,
And put
And-
them all along the front,
yeah. We can,
just for
we can,
spring.
yeah,
I mean,
but most of this stuff, I mean, most asters bloom in September and October.
Yep.
The Liatris is mid-July to mid-August, and so on, so we'd have flowers, I think, most of the year,
okay, so who's gonna plan it and how are we gonna get it going?
yeah.
You got it laid out, or?
Well,
Can
I
we
brought these thoughts so we could discuss it.
Okay, is
Yeah.
it too late to do it this year?
No, there are a lot of things that still can go in, so,
Do we need to clean it up first, or? I
well,
mean,
we did,
Oh, you missed that.
we did,
Yeah,
did
you,
about,
that's right.
we did about
Yeah.
3/4 of it, we got,
Yeah, we got
Another
a
hour.
fair amount of
Did you
it.
finish
I've
it?
Yeah.
never been doing them.
You could get out and
Yeah,
finish
yeah.
that last,
Like grasses that
Yes.
get pulled and, I mean, you could go back in and easily do more, but
Oh,
we
yeah.
did a good job.
Yeah.
We filled up AJ's truck.
Yep.
So,
Let me tell you, it took me about a half hour to get all that stuff out of there, it was
Wow.
packed in there.
yeah, it was
so
packed in
I got
there.
up there and stomped it down too much.
Yep,
But, yeah, it was a full load.
yeah,
yep,
But,
so,
yeah, the idea was to have something going on all through the season.
Yeah,
right,
I think I'd
So-
like to see kind of a combination, you
Yeah.
know, of these plants
Mhm.
and then the more attractive
Yeah,
plants.
we can- You know what we do, we've got a lot of natives like this plants to add list, but dozens more. We put in about 400 new plants just this spring because we're expanding the pollinator garden we already had. But we intersperse in annuals, and we've got tulips. We probably have 800 to 1,000 tulips in the backyard. It's magical, but when they're done, then all this other stuff is coming up all around it. It
Right.
shares pretty well.
Yep.
And like I said, we've done it in a way that we have color all summer and well into the fall. The asters are usually blooming right up to the hard freeze.
yeah, they're beautiful.
so you're thinking of just doing like clusters? Like, could we
Yeah.
break it up so we could just say, all right, we're gonna plant these 3 things in these clusters, either this spring, fall, whatever, and then do more next year, like, just to break up the labor and,
Yeah, I don't even know, I know someone who has some Joe Pye weed, but I don't,
oh, okay.
but,
I only have a small amount.
yeah,
not
there's
enough
a
to
fellow,
Actually, I have butterfly weed.
I do too, I have quite a few different
yeah.
varieties, yeah. And I was just inventorying a wildflower bed from last year to see what came back up, and it's, the problem is it's just too jammed in there, it needs to be divided. And there was, some
Well, we know where you
echinacea,
can put
coneflower.
some of that stuff.
Yeah, it needs to be divided.
Yeah.
Butterfly weed is
No,
blooming
I-
right now.
The labor's, I'm retired, so I got plenty of time, so you can do anything you want, and, you know, we'll get it done, but, as long as I'm not fishing and maybe.
As long as it's
We're
not raining out, that,
traveling
yeah.
Just let me know a couple weeks before you're doing it,
Yeah.
so I can plan the trip.
Walter's busy.
So, anyway, yeah, again, I mean, I'm really thinking of getting a bang out of it for the commission, and if you're gonna do that, we should talk about it a little bit.
The
Again,
kiosk should highlight
If it
some
was
of
done
that.
right, I could see the telegram covering it, or. at
Yeah,
least
Walter's good
the item.
about getting publicity for stuff.
Right.
So, you don't wanna do that.
I think
I've-
you'd have better luck with the item than the telegram.
Oh, I think it would, but it's worth a try.
Yeah.
If it didn't work, it didn't work, but you always give it a shot, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then what about the beehive up there, do we
I think
need
that
a
would be
permit or
fabulous.
anything? Should we?
The last one that was up there, we just put it up there.
I kept one at the nature center back in Minnesota, in our town for 7 or 8 years,
Right.
till I left,
Right, so if it got
yeah.
stolen, you might wanna think about a way to secure it, but
Yeah,
No,
I
you
think
don't.
it's-
Well, there's
Yeah,
a,
what can you do? What can you do?
I know.
there's a couple, I shouldn't say it, there's a big black guy around town with beehives. It went along further.
Oh.
He has not come into
Big
my
black
yard
bear.
yet, yeah, you know.
Yeah, I haven't heard, and usually nobody's screaming about
Well,
that.
Peter Hoffman had one hive, and,
Indeed.
and
Yeah.
one got into, Sue Roberts
I
about
was gonna
2
say,
years ago.
I was just gonna say,
Yeah.
it seemed like 2
And
years
then a
ago, the
couple-
bears got into everybody's
Easy
hives.
Bed Farm,
Yeah.
they get, Cordelia's
Yeah.
Farm, they got into theirs.
Yeah.
Bears got into a black bear.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it seemed like there was a bunch of Facebook posts one year where everybody's hive got taken by bears.
Yeah.
And everybody's freaking out to know that there's bears.
I know, right?
I think, next time we can have a chance to get over there, show me where you wanna put it.
Okay, yeah, it was,
Stand up.
I mean, you can really put it wherever you
I was
want,
just gonna say,
but,
we can-
right,
right.
whatever you think is the best
Yeah.
spot, but, so here's the kiosk,
Mhm.
right? And then here's the ramp that goes down in, and it was probably 2/3 of the way down, right in there.
Up on top or down below?
No, up on top,
Okay.
Yep.
Alright. Yeah, yeah,
so, but wherever you want.
yeah. Do we need any kind of a sign or anything saying, stay back 5 feet or 10 feet?
No.
No.
They'll learn quick enough.
Exactly.
Yeah, they have, bees have a quick way of teaching.
Yeah,
And they really only do defensive stuff,
Sure,
cause they know
yeah.
they're gonna die stinging, so that
Right.
really, it's a defensive thing. Okay, I'll bring one over.
awesome, that would be great.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, and I think we're all in agreement that we like what you've got going here so far,
Yeah.
so.
But
yeah.
I agree with Louise and
Yeah.
Walt, let's make sure we have things that,
Yeah,
we get that flash of color in the spring.
Yep.
Cause most natives come just a little bit later.
Right, right. Yeah, so put some, and maybe we'll put some tulips in this fall also.
Get some of those to divide too.
one of the comments I've heard from people when you mention the garden is that there's a garden down there. It's just, it's at
Well,
far
and
enough
it,
back that you don't see it.
right, but it also has suffered from
Yeah,
lack of attention.
Yes, it has.
We didn't even clean it out for the 2 years of COVID,
Yeah.
which surprised me how little debris there really was.
yeah.
For
What
that.
was it, 2 years ago?
It must have gotten cleaned up with
2020.
like birthday cleanup or something.
I was young then.
No, we've never done that for.
You were young.
But nobody goes and picks up the trash there? 'Cause I would think, there wasn't really a lot of
I feel like
trash
I
there,
was
but I
born
would
No,
think
there
it-
really isn't.
No.
Geez, I feel
We've
like I
never-
was born old.
I've never
Yeah, I know
really
it,
seen
I
trash
know.
there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Speaking of Earth Day, it was, actually Lawrence Holyoke pointed out that Route, 62 Central Street is still pretty bad.
Yeah.
So we kind of talked about maybe trying to get a group of people, and the police said that they would be willing, next year, they would be willing to have a cruiser out with the people.
Right, that's what makes 62 hard.
Right,
Yeah, it's
So-
just too dangerous.
Yeah.
maybe we could set something up that some Saturday, we get a group of people and.
Yeah. How about it?
Yeah. Right, yeah, maybe we could talk about it, and
Well, we
Awesome.
should put up a sign like littering fine or something.
there used to be signs
don't think
years
so.
And
ago.
it
I don't
doesn't
think
do
they do
anything,
anything.
but it
Doesn't do
does
anything.
deter maybe, or
It's
you
so
catch
hard to
somebody doing
enforce.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you have to
It's
catch
enforcement
Take a
somebody.
picture.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
unless they
exactly.
throw a piece of paper with their name on it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, so the only other thing I wanted to make sure that on the plan for that, we knew, so Fred said he needs 68 inches of clearance to get the mower in. So we're probably gonna forego that little piece on the side
Mhm.
that we had talked about in order to make that happen.
On the street.
But you've seen the plan, right? Yeah, I thought so.
Of
what we're gonna do,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, I
Yep,
did.
yep.
Yep.
And at the select board meeting the other night, Sue Terrian gave her blessing for the plan, so that's good, and Fred was there, and we talked about it, so have you gotten in touch with him about the lumber and how to get that delivered?
It's already in the town barn.
Good.
Yesterday,
You are good.
picked it up and Fred opened up the town barn on, Carter Street,
Awesome,
stacked it up, ready to
excellent.
go.
All right. I poked Kyle again, he's up in Maine working this week, so I'm like, tell me what's going on with the posts. So, but that's the last thing,
Mhm.
right, is
Yeah,
the posts,
yeah.
so,
Well, and the labor to do
sure,
that,
yep,
but, yeah.
If you fix it up, make it look good, it's gonna, more people are gonna realize, oh, and we're gonna get more
Yeah.
people in there,
Yeah.
number one. So that makes it
But
more
it still needs
dangerous
cleaning.
coming out of there. And if Madam Select Person could, talk to Sue Terrian, or you talk to her, and just try to get,
right.
This is a conservation item.
Yeah.
Nope.
this is, thanks for the help. So, they can, talk to her, because I tell you, that's dangerous, and that could be very easily, AJ and I would've cleaned the whole thing right up.
Right.
Now that there's leaves on it, I won't even bother getting in there this summer, you have to wait until the leaves are gone, and it's easy to get into, but it would improve vision, make it perfectly safe coming out of there, just cutting some brush.
By the way, I took the, Saturday I went to the SVT, had a, invasive species class over in,
Was it in it was in Sudbury at their
Yeah.
office, right?
no, it's one of their sites, anyway. So now the next step is to get certified by them, is to walk through with one of their staff. And you do a single invasive species at a time, so you, let's say you pick multiflora rose, and there are a couple of lookalikes that are natives. So you have to be able to pick that out, one, and then, you have to show or demonstrate how it's removed effectively. And talk about, what do you do with the debris, can you compost it, can you burn it, can you,
Do you
send
have
it.
to bag it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
some things you do.
Yep.
Yeah. So, that's the next step, but I think I'm gonna wait for that till I get back from France.
If you go by the package store down there, look to the left on that land with CR on it, there's multiflora rose bushes coming up in there now. 10 years from now, it's gonna be impenetrable.
Yeah, yeah.
It's bad.
On the Tyler piece?
No, just beyond the package store, heading towards Solomon Pond Mall, you go around the rotary and,
Oh, at the
Right.
floodplain area.
so when are we going to, get a rundown on how to control beavers?
In September.
For $75, I wanna hear about it.
In September.
Walter, you know exactly how to control
They
it.
did a good job
Absolutely.
with
Did
that.
they finally, that was
I spent
painful.
injection of lead,
But
right?
it looks great, it looks
What-
great, I
That's
mean,
awesome.
What on
it
earth
totally
did they
changed the
teach
landscape
about
for
controlling
the
beavers?
For the better,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
that's
really
wonderful.
nice.
Does
No.
he have to have that car around?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
Um,
it's
So that's
amazing
well
what
done.
they did.
all right, do it.
Have you seen
I
the
will make
beaver
a motion
control
to
thing?
end the meeting at
We'll talk about
8:46 PM.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right,
Aye.
excellent. Yes, Holly, that car road
Where
thing,
is it?
that was a
Which one?
nightmare. It was a
Where is it?
nightmare. I
Um,
still have Pat DeBello's phone
Yeah,
number on
I-
a sticky on
I
my
know
phone,
it.
on my car.
Oh, we always, we make the